Hello, my name is Carolyn J. Thompson. I have the pleasure of serving you on the North Carolina Court of Appeals. This is a seat that covers the entire state, and it's the second highest court that we have in the state of North Carolina. So on the appellate level, when everything comes through the appellate system, we always say the most important words you can say in your courtroom, be it district court, superior court, or magistrate court. If you've not had a fair day in court, or you feel like the court simply just got it wrong, the two most powerful words you can say are "I appeal," and then it will come up to the Court of Appeals. So you have the Court of Appeals, and then you have the Supreme Court. But guess what? The Court of Appeals is actually the workhorse for all the appeals coming through our state. And so when the 15 judges are presiding, or we conference together, we only sit in threes. And on most days, I can tell you, when I'm hearing cases that are argued before the Court of Appeals, or we get the record from the lower courts, I am one in a minority. In fact, I am the only African American woman left on the Court of Appeals out of 15 judges, and that covers the entire state. And as you well know, it does not reflect the diverse state that we have. But in this election, we're hoping that the domino will fall, and this election to keep my seat, of course, but also bring along 2 other seats to bring it to a more fair and balanced court. The 27 years that it took for me to get to this place started back in 1996 when I became a trial attorney. My practice focused on family law cases, protecting children, protecting women of domestic violence and their children as a domestic violence advocate for a number of years. I didn't just sit on the bench as a district court judge. I was very active in my community because my community came to me as a district court judge often with their tabletop issues or tabletop issues. And when we talked about these things in court, it was very important for me to make sure that they put a name and a face together, because these were confidential, personal matters. Your child is in trouble, my marriage is broken, my mom needs help with elder care and can't find the funds through the Department of Social Services. So as a district court judge, I was very active. In addition to that, I served as a truancy court judge, meaning that if children did not go to school, it was my responsibility to find out what's happening in that child's life and in that home so that I could address them with the resources in our community. Those resources may include counselors, school teachers, bringing social services involved to get them the resources they need, from child support, for example. Then also as a volunteer teen court judge for these children that would get in trouble, I certainly believe in the second chance opportunities that kids should have instead of sending them through the pipeline of the criminal justice system. So when I got off the bench, I then volunteered as a truancy court judge, as well as a teen court judge. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my role right now. Because I've been a district court judge, a trial attorney, a superior court judge, a quasi-judge hearing cases involving industrial commission when people were injured on the job, or tort claims coming out of prison system, all of those experiences have now allowed me to serve you effectively and efficiently on the Court of Appeals, because these are the cases that are now coming up on appeal. People who get injured on the job and don't have a fair outcome, or what they feel is the wrong outcome for their cases, they say, "I appeal," and it comes to the Court of Appeals. Family matters where people don't have an opportunity to be heard. Maybe they don't have an attorney, or they have ineffective assistance of counsel, and they say, "I appeal." It comes up to where I sit. So when people often say, "Well, I don't really know what the Court of Appeals is about," I wanted to take this time to emphasize the power and the reach of this court. Because once we say this is how the case is going to come out, it's precedence. It is actually the final answer, the court of last resort for a lot of cases. You don't even get to see the Supreme Court, because now their rules say that they don't take all the cases. You don't automatically go to the Supreme Court. So the buck stops at the Court of Appeals. I honor this role by always being prepared, having the experience, but also being up on the law. I'm not coming in needing a training session. I am already there doing the work, the hard work, and day one ready. I'm serving as the incumbent, and I have a challenger who has no judicial experience, no trial experience. My understanding is that he's a pharmacist with a law degree. Now, if you want somebody to handle your case writing prescriptions, that's your guy. But if you want somebody who's been doing the work for 27 years, already there doing the hard work for you, then please remember to keep Carolyn Thompson. So on a professional level, that's who Carolyn Thompson is. But on a personal note, let me let you know that I'm a mama. I'm a wife to a blended family of 5 adult kids. I'm also a nana to 6 beautiful grandchildren. And I am proud to say that in this cycle, in this season of rhetoric and what's going on in our political cycle, I can tell them that their nana, that their mom and their wife stood on the right side of history by upholding the law and the Constitution as best I can to make sure that everyone gets a fair day in court, that everyone has an opportunity to be heard when they feel like they've been wronged in a lower court system. So please remember to vote for Carolyn J. Thompson. You can find me on all the social media channels, Facebook, JudgeCarolynThompson.com. We have the same handle for Twitter, for Instagram. Look at the commercial that's out there. It's to the point of where I'm trying to get people to understand the importance of this particular seat and how it's important to keep me there as the incumbent. I'm at the table of justice for everyone, not just the Democrats, not just one party or another. In fact, it's my belief that party affiliations and all of these divisive discussions and talks that we're seeing in the media should have nothing to do with the court system. When you come in the courtroom, it's a blank sheet, and you could get a fair trial based upon the facts before the court and the law that is presented. No hidden agendas, no ideologies before you can even stand and say, "Good morning, Your Honor." You know that I have not made up my mind because I want to hear from the plaintiff. I want to hear from the defendant. The parties' cases deserve unbiased, fair, and experienced judges to take a look at the case, what happened below. So thank you so much for this opportunity for me to introduce myself to some and remind others about the importance about voting for judges, because we are the firewall. We are the balancing to all that's happening. Probably around October, the other side will start bringing out negative ads. They'll start with the commercials. I want to tell you, when they go negative, you just remember, when they call Judge Thompson an activist judge, remember that she is actively looking for justice. She's actively looking for opportunities to balance the scales of justice for you and for everyone. I am running with 3 amazing candidates. One is up for Supreme Court. That's Allison Riggs. We've got to keep her seat on the Supreme Court. Right now, she is running all over the state with the 3 of us, Carolyn Thompson, Ed Eldridge, Martin Moore. Ed Eldridge is a phenomenal attorney for families and making sure that parents' rights are protected. Martin Moore out of Buncombe County is a young, bright public defender who understands due process and the criminal process and how folks often feel like they've not had a fair day in court. We're running as a team, and that's the acronym. T for Thompson, E for Eldridge, A for Allison because we simply just didn't know what to do with the R for Riggs, and M for Martin Moore. Team, look for us on the appellate side of your ballot. We're somewhere down in the middle, not really at the bottom this time, but if you have to, hey, bottoms up. Because the more you go down to the bottom, the more you're talking about issues in your home. And when you get to the court system, we're there to balance it all for you. And so thank you again for this opportunity, and I hope to see you November 5th at the polls.